What is up, everybody? Welcome to the RPS Swing for the Fences show. I am not Holden. I'm JSU, so this show just upgraded. It's much better now. You're welcome. And with me today, I've got the guys who there was a little, rumble last time in the show. I'm pretty sure there were some wagers. So Holden didn't want to deal with you guys. He sent me a message. He said, JSU, can you handle these guys today? I can't deal with it. So I'm here. I'm going to kind of, make sure that, it's a fair fight between you two today. I hope there are some arguments and everything is fair game. So first off, we gotta introduce TitleTown because he did beat DC in the wager. So TitleTown, how was your day today?
I mean, it wasn't only a beat. It was that was as domination as it gets. But I mean, I will got to give DC some credit though. Corbin Burns, I mean, he was my SP2 on the slate too. And Corbin Burns is filthy. He did what he was supposed to do. And even John Gray, our other points per dollar bet, I said you didn't need it on the slate. I mean, I went as far as saying I couldn't imagine playing John Gray, which you didn't need it on the slate with the pricing. But John Gray threw a really, really good game. But yeah, I mean, Lance Lynn, DC was victory lapping, sent out a tweet before Lance Lynn even took the mound, which made it even sweeter. But then he just goes and shoves a 9-inning complete game shutout right in DC's face. Hey, it was fun. Yeah, that's what makes this show fun though. You're going to disagree on stuff, get some money in, have some fun with it. But yeah, today's been a good day too. Excited to talk some baseball. And then we got NBA after too. So it's going to be a good day.
Title throwing in some early bows. I like it. But then he comes back and gives DC a backhanded compliment, we'll say, right, about Corbin Burns. DC, Alex Cobb, 10 Ks last night. I would say not too shabby for a guy who is super low owned. You called him. I'm pretty sure he was in your core plays. How was your night last night? And what's going on?
It ended up fine. My core plays were Alex Cobb, 3% ownership, 10 Ks. He was awesome. And Tyler Glasnow, who obviously had, I think, 14 Ks. And I had two teams. One of them was a full Mariners-Orioles stack. They got PPD'd. They needed to wait like 10 more minutes. The game would have played. All those guys were like literally 1% owned. And then my other lineup didn't do much either, so just finished just outside the money. So a little bit painful to nail the two pitchers and not get there. It happens. You move on. And, going back to me and Title's bet from, what was that, on Thursday, I believe, last Thursday. I mean, a lot of pitching has struggled. It's been better recently, but especially right off the bat, we saw a lot of aces struggling. Corbin Burns put up, 31 DraftKings points. I had him straight up against Lance Lynn, and then I had John Gray in Coors Field, point per dollar. He was much cheaper, obviously, than Lance Lynn. Gray got the win. I think he got 7 strikeouts, and Coors put up like 24, 25 DraftKings points. I was feeling good. I felt like those couple $100 were coming my way. And then, Lance Lynn just I tweeted out because the game was delayed, and I tweeted a title. They finally said it was going to start. So I tweeted him, good game, PayPal and bio, thinking that Lance Lynn wasn't going to do as well as he hoped. He struck out the side, and I deleted the tweet thinking maybe I'd get the karma back. I think that like double, it like exponentially increased the bad karma for the victory lap, deleting the tweet afterward. Just a tough scene for DC on that day. So, recovered now and back, hoping to get some of those giblets back today.
There we go. DC's ready to battle tonight. I love it. And he's going to keep giving those winners. Those 3% owned winners, by the way. Those are the winners we like at RPS. We don't want the obvious plays. We like the not obvious plays that no one else in the industry's on. So we got to give you a shout out for that. Also, too, guys, I'm wearing my Run Pure Bet shirt. And I don't know if people know this, but Run Pure Bets went 10-0 last night. If you're not a subscriber to Run Pure Bets, 10-0. We had Hoop and Big T on these free shows yesterday, giving out winners, lock winners. Hoop with the Pelicans -2, I think was his lock of the day. And then Tony just one-ups Hoop. And I mean, God, poor Hoop. This is how good Big T runs. Tony just gives out a +450 dog. He says, I don't even need the points. Give me the money line with the Wizards. And the Wizards get it done for Big T. That's how good Big T runs. +450. I hope a bunch of you guys jumped on those bets, though. And if you're not a subscriber and a member at Run Pure Sports or Run Pure Bets, get over, sign up, get the bets package. It's free. 10 and up. Like, that's all I got to say. Joey Work, all those guys over there, Keg, JJ, Spread, they're killing it. So get over there, check those guys out. Boys, we're going to get into this slate. We're also going to get into, we had a member who hit for 20K last night. He's going to want to give back. So at the end of the show, I'm going to pick somebody from the chat for a little ticket giveaway. Just because he won last night, he hit for 20K and he wanted to give back to the people. So nothing needed, just love the support. I love people giving back. When we win, we give back. I love the members doing it too. Right, DC?
Absolutely. I mean, I talk about on Twitter sometimes about how good this community is at the RPS Discord, and like, it's just awesome. I mean, you can get in there any day, talk any sport you want with knowledgeable people. Obviously, our quote unquote experts are in there, but there's plenty of just members who are doing their stuff, doing their research, talking baseball, basketball, MMA, golf, whatever you want to talk. And then it's like taking it a step further. I've been a member of some good Discords in my day, but people are like staking each other, just like, I won big. Who wants a $200 ticket tonight? Well, that's just absurd, right? Just giving it out to total strangers. We're all doing well, and it's just a fun place to be. It's just worth it.
Yeah, you love to see it. And the member's name in Discord is JP84. Yeah. That's the member who won 20K in MLB. So stay tuned for the end of the show. We're going to pick a winner at the end of the show. But guys, let's dive in. We'll get to that stuff as we go on in the show. And I want to dive right into this pitching slate because, man, we got a monster slate, a ton of viable pitchers, in my opinions, and a bunch of mistakes when I look at this from a pricing standpoint, when I look at the pitcher player pool on DraftKings, because I see a lot of really good pitchers that are normally not this cheap on DraftKings, and we'll kind of get there. But DC, let's first start at the top dogs. Look at these guys at the top. Is there anyone that you're looking at the top?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen such a bizarre pitching slate where there are like, I don't know, like 12 or 13 options that you could reasonably make a case for. I mean, you start at the top, you've got right off the bat, the AL and NL Cy Young winners from last year. Shane Bieber, Trevor Bauer, both are looking strong, strikeout stuff. Great matchup for Bauer against Colorado, in Los Angeles, not Coors Field. So he should be fantastic. Bieber's just been an absolute monster. The metrics for him look even better than last year. His swinging strike rate through the roof. Chicago, some good bats there, but Bieber can totally set these guys down, rack up double-digit Ks. And then Giolito's looked amazing as well and gets a better matchup than his counterpart in the same game, Shane Bieber does. So on a normal slate, I would maybe be saying pay up for two of these guys, right? And make the bats fit, because they're all in great spots and are all fantastic pitchers. I don't really see any flaws in any of their games at the moment, outside of maybe Trevor Bauer, the spin rate stuff. They confiscated a couple baseballs. I'm still a little bit worried about that, but all three are great plays. The problem is, like you mentioned, JSU, there's just some straight up mispriced pitchers where, I mean, the one that stands out most to me, not to jump ahead, but Luis Castillo at 7,100 in San Francisco, like, he's a 10K pitcher too, like he has been pretty much each of the last 2 years. There's nothing wrong with him. He had that horrible outing to start the year, but that was a game that was snowing, right? Against St. Louis. It was like literally 30, 35 degrees. He just couldn't get anything going. He had bad defense behind him. Bounced back, looked like his normal self against Pittsburgh, 7 strong innings there, no earned runs. So it's tough. I mean, I don't think you need to pay up for pitcher today. That said, any of those top 3 guys could drop 35, 40 fantasy points.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm wondering, DC, if because we have all of these mispriced pitchers, I'm wondering if it just makes the top tier ownership drop because of it, because people just say, hey, I can play Castillo, who really should be like an 8 or 9K pitcher, and I can get him at a value of 7K. Like, what do you think when it comes to that? You think the ownership's dropped on 1 or 2 of these guys because of that theory? Yeah,
I think you're going to see ownership more spread out on pitcher today than we've like almost ever seen on a big 11-game slate like this. I think you'll see pitchers all over the board because you can just make the case for so many of these dudes. I mean, even in the mid-range, guys like Woodruff, Flaherty, Hendricks, they're all solid plays in the mid 7K range. So I do think you'll see ownership very spread out. So but the problem is we're talking about all these great pitchers, right? What does that mean for the offensive side? It means there's not that many offenses that you want to target either, right? So it's just a bizarre slate, a fascinating slate. I could see it going any number of ways. So I think I don't know if you need to worry too much about trying to be super contrarian on this one. I don't know. It's just really interested to hear your guys' takes on some of these strategy components. I think those are just as important as the player breakdowns today.
For sure. Strategy on this slate is going to be huge. Title, let's bring it to you. I mean, let's start at the top. I mean, and you can bring it to any range you want, I guess, because there are some pitchers that should be honestly at the top that are in the mid-range or cheaper. What are you looking at? I know you play a lot of cash games. So from a cash game side, are you just locking in one of these top tier guys?
Yeah, I mean, because we don't have bats today that we really need to pay up for. I know there's so many mispriced pitchers on the slate, but Trevor Bauer against Colorado is what I feel the most safe on the slate. I like Bieber a lot in tournaments. I mean, I think Trevor Bauer is going to be the most popular pitcher on the slate today because you can easily pair him with Woodruff, Castillo. I mean, Max Fried down there is 6,500 in a great matchup too against Miami. You can literally go so many ways for pitching, but I think getting one of the top guys is going to be chalky since you have the salary. Bauer is my favorite. I love the matchup more than Bieber's against the White Sox. I mean, he's just been so filthy this year, double-digit strikeouts in both outings. So he's number one for me up top. Bieber's number two. The White Sox have a lot of power in the middle of their lineup, but they also do strike out a lot. Bieber, I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I like pairing Trevor Bauer and Bieber in a lot of lineups and tournaments and cash games. And I don't even think that's going to be very popular. I mean, obviously it's not going to be low owned, but like you said, there's so many good pitching options. I'm going to avoid Lucas Giolito. And that's not because I think he's a bad play. I think he's a very, very good play, but you can't play everybody today. You have to make some stands. Bauer and Bieber are going to be my stands up top. In the mid-tier, Brandon Woodruff's my favorite at 7,500. Again, that's just a misprice. I'm not scared of the Cubs offense. They have not been very good. Woodruff's a very good pitcher. I prefer him to Castillo, but I mean, Castillo is also very good at 7,100. Then if you want to go down in the 6K range, Max Fried at 6,500 stands out to me against Miami, who I'm not scared of also. So a bigger pitcher pool than I'm used to. I'm going to rank them Bauer, point per dollar, Bauer, Bieber, Bauer, Woodruff, Bieber, Fried is how I'm going to rank him point per dollar, but I like going Bieber, Bauer up top.
Yeah, and one other guy too. I mean, I think Giolito is going to be the one that's the lowest owned of the three top guys. But one other guy, I mean, Steven Strasburg, I want to get both your takes on. Title, I'll just start with you because you're still going here. Give me your take on Steven Strasburg, 8.4K. Is he in play for you at all, or is he like only a tournament option? What is he?
Well, on FanDuel 10-4, just throw him out of the equation. Again, yeah, like you said, DraftKings, another misprice at 8-4. I'm just not sold. I mean, he threw 85 pitches last time out. I'll expect around 90 pitches, which is a little shorter leash than some of the other guys. On a smaller slate where there's better hitting spots and not as many pitchers, I would have a lot of interest, but there's too many unknowns with too good of a pitching slate for me to add him to my player pool. So I'm going to take a pass, and he's going to get ownership too. So get a little leverage on the field. Yes, he is cheap. I mean, he has talent, we know, but I'm not going to play him today on this slate with pitching so good.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Steven Strasburg. He's got the name value. People know who he is. And he's normally, people don't see him down in that range, right? But DC, what's going on? He's 8.4K. Is he in play for you at all, or are you passing as well?
I'm going to pass on this slate. I think on a normal slate, I'd be interested. I was really worried about him coming into the year. His velocity was down in spring training. He had this weird calf injury where he like tore a tendon in his leg, but they're saying it's just like you don't need it like the human body doesn't need it. So I was worried about that, but he looked pretty good in that first start. His velocity was back up, not all the way, but most of the way to what we saw last year. Again, like last year, he missed the whole season basically with carpal tunnel syndrome, or he had to have carpal tunnel syndrome surgery over the offseason, just a bunch of stuff going on with him. So I don't quite trust him here, but I mean, the matchup's good for sure against St. Louis, whose offense hasn't looked great. Good pitcher's park, all that stuff. So I wouldn't, if a friend sent me their lineup that had Steven Strasburg in it, I wouldn't say he needs to come out of there. He's a fine play. I'm not going to go there myself. But there are so many guys that you could say that about. Woodruff, I think he's going to get a lot of ownership, 7,500. I slightly prefer Castillo to him, but you could make the case certainly for either guy. But, we haven't even got to the best point per dollar pitcher on the slate yet. His name hasn't been mentioned.
DC, I was going to leave that name for you.
Yeah, I
but
appreciate that.
I wanted to get down there. Before I get down there, Richard Small in the chat says, first day trying out fantasy baseball. You guys came through with basketball. So here we go. Richard, welcome. Hopefully we can get you to the winner's circle in baseball as well. But DC, Kyle Gibson is sitting down as the cheapest pitcher on the slate at 5.6K on DraftKings. Give us your take on Kyle Gibson.
So he was awful in 2020. Many baseball players were, right? A lot of them just didn't know if the season was going to happen. They didn't have a normal spring training. They're all thrown off. His velocity was down a couple miles per hour. It's back up now with Texas. He looked fantastic in his last start, shut down the Blue Jays. I was on him in that first start too against I was on him both starts, frankly. That first start opening day against Kansas City was a complete disaster. Every batted ball that they touched turned into a hit. But even in that start, he got a bunch of swings and misses, and then he backed that up doing it again against Toronto. I think he's sitting somewhere between 17 to 18% swings and misses over the course of the season. Both of his two starts were better than any swinging strike rate he had in any start in 2020. So the velocity's up. And then the biggest thing, though, his fastball has always been crushed. He added a brand new pitch, a cutter. He's never thrown it in his life prior to 2021. Now he's throwing this pitch about 30% of the time. I think it's going to be a huge difference maker for him. I think Kyle Gibson is like legit good. This isn't a case where I'm taking him for the savings, because there are plenty of other pitchers you can take for the savings. I do have in my own stuff, Kyle Gibson projected to be the best point per dollar pitcher on the slate on DraftKings and Title. I'm coming after some of my giblets that I lost to you. You can pick whatever pitcher you want. Kyle Gibson versus your guy, point per dollar on DraftKings.
Wait a second. Hold on. Are you giving him Kyle Gibson against the field?
Point per dollar. He can choose anyone.
Oh, point per dollar.
Any one pitcher. This is a fair offer, right?
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Title. You're going to come back at that? You already know a guy? Because please.
I would list 6 guys to play point per dollar before him and put 100 apiece.
List them. What do you mean? I will list them.
He said pick. He said pick one guy. Like, I'll do 6 different bets, or do you just want to stick to one? Because I'm playing Brandon Lowe and Austin Meadows against Kyle Gibson today.
Well, enjoy getting last place.
All right. I'll pick Trevor Bauer. I'll take point per dollar Trevor Bauer.
How about you pick 2?
All right. I'll do Trevor Bauer and I'll do Brandon Woodruff.
All right. Point per dollar, 100 each on those?
Yep. Point per dollar, 100 each.
Book it.
Beautiful. All right. Kyle Gibson point per dollar, Trevor Bauer for Title, and then Brandon Woodruff for Title. Same thing, point per dollar.
Let me make one last point. There are some books that have, been getting some DMs from just people on Twitter that listen to the podcast where I was talking about Kyle Gibson. And some local bookies had Kyle Gibson 10 plus strikeouts at 26-1. So if you can, this is a situation with Gibson where I think I'm either I'm right that he's a different pitcher than we've ever seen, which I think is true. I really do. But maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe this cutter won't make that big of a difference in the long term. But if you can get some like big odds on Kyle Gibson, right? I think that's where you want to go. The Rangers are plus 150. I like that bet a lot. I've certainly hit that one. So yeah, again, if you're a believer in DC's pitching analysis, get some long odds on Kyle Gibson to deliver a gem here. I think he's got a good chance to do it.
I love it. We got Uncle T in the chat. He says, I wouldn't play Kyle Gibson with JSU's money. So he wouldn't even play Kyle Gibson with my
all you
money.
Baseball donkeys, you're just increasing my confidence. This is great.
I love it too, because I no doubt am going to play some Kyle Gibson. I actually believe in Kyle Gibson like DC. I unfortunately played him last year a little bit as well because I was a believer. He did not come through last year for me.
He's making us back. We're going to get all those giblets back. No worries, man.
He was honestly 8 strikeouts last time out. He pitched 80, and he gave up 6 runs. I know he gave up the 6 runs.
No, he didn't.
But, did he? He didn't have what?
He gave up 0 earned last time out against Toronto.
Oh, was it 0 earned? So was it the start before? Yeah, you're right. He gave up 5 the start before. I'm thinking of the start before. So last time out, he struck out 8, didn't give up a run. I'm with DC here. I'm believing in Kyle Gibson. So 5.6K too. What are we even talking about? That's so cheap. Hopefully he gives us a gem, DC.
I mentioned this yesterday too. It can be easy to kind of get caught in your own bubble where you're in the RPS community. Maybe you're watching the show. Couldn't stop talking about Alex Cobb yesterday. And then people are like, well, is he going to be too highly owned? It's no, he's not. He was 3% owned. Gibson, no one's playing Gibson on the slate. Not with Castillo and Woodruff, 3 studs up top. I think Gibson will be below 5% owned, honestly. People, a lot of people are watching the show, of course. A lot of people are in our chat, but compared to the masses of all the different sites and all the different people that don't even have a content subscription at all, no one's playing Kyle Gibson tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And before we leave pitcher, guys, because, I want you to rank these cheaper pitchers for the people because there's so many pitchers. Yeah. And if you could just give let's just say in that, 7 anywhere in the 7K range or below, can you give me your 3 or 4 favorite pitchers? Title, I'll start with you. Just your 3 or 4.
Yeah, Woodruff, Castillo, Max Fried at 6,500 is as low as I'd go. But I mean, I just don't think you need to go anywhere down there. Point per dollar. I like him today. And then Odorizzi would be at 7.2K. I like the matchup against Detroit. But Woodruff and Castillo in their own tier, and then you get a big jump down to Max Fried and Odorizzi.
In cash games, are you is that your plan for one of those guys to be your SP2 and paying up for one?
I'm debating maybe even double paying up too, though, because there isn't enough bats that I really feel like I need to jam in today because there's not good hitting spots. So Bauer number 1, and then I might pair him with Bieber, or I'd be fine dropping down to Woodruff.
All right. DC, give me your 4 top pitchers in that range or below.
Yeah, obviously Gibson, but beyond him, I have it ranked Castillo at 7,100, Woodruff at 7,500, and then Max Fried at 6,500. Again, he's off to a slow start. I dug into him. I don't see anything that's really alarming. I would expect more or less the same Max Fried that we've seen in the last couple of years, a very good pitcher against a Miami offense that's horrible. They are going to be better against lefties, I think, but we saw his teammate, last night get 10 strikeouts. He's not nearly the caliber of pitcher, in my opinion, that Max Fried is. So, I mean, Fried's a fantastic play too. I'm frustrated because I'm so in love with Gibson. I'm obviously playing him, but there's so many good plays, right? So Gibson really does have to deliver a big outing to get anywhere close to the optimal. I think he's going to do it. I really, really do. But it would be an even better play, right? If there weren't if you had to play a Gibson or pay up for Shane Bieber, but he's got to beat Castillo at 7,100 and Woodruff. He has to deliver. So I did make the point, I think, when I kind of started talking about him, it's not just that I'm trying to save, because you don't need the savings today. You don't need to go cheap. I really do think he's going to have a good outing. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it is tough. It is a tough slate. Because obviously you're on a lot of slates, you'd want to take that cheap price in Gibson with the upside, though, to get a stud pitcher to combo or stud bats
or a Coors stack or something, but that's not available either. So,
exactly.
So title mentioned you don't need to go all the way down because there's not that many good hitting spots. I do get that perspective. I guess the approach I'm taking to this slate is that because there are not that many good hitting spots, the few that there are, I think are even more valuable to attack. And they're that differentiated, right? If the Dodgers were in Coors Field instead of a 55, 60 degree Los Angeles, the Gibson play would be even more valuable. But even so, I'm still going to be rolling with it myself.
Yeah, for sure. We got some people in chat asking about Holden. Guys, if you want to know about Holden, he'll be on the Up to Lock show with me and him for NBA. So make sure you tune in for that. We're not going to get into this discussion about what Holden was doing last night and why he may or may not be on this show right now. So come back for the Up to Lock show. Holden will be on with me. So get there and we'll talk about that. But before we move on to the hitters, guys, hit the thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you can, it helps us keep giving you this free content, which we want to continue giving you guys. So if you like this content and it's helped you win money in the past, or, you just like listening to us go back and forth, hit the thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. But boys, let's get into the hitters, and we'll start position by position with catcher. And Title, I'll start with you. Who are we looking at catcher?
Yeah, catcher is always gross. It's always a position that I just pretty much punted every time. And if I pay up, it's for someone like Will Smith, which you can do today at 4.9K. If you're playing Kyle Gibson down low, you'll have the money. Will Smith is the top catcher price wise, and he's the best catcher there is. So if you have the money, I'm fine paying him. Otherwise, I'm just gonna punt, and whoever catches the lineup that's really cheap. I mean, I see Jose Trevino down there, 3.1K in the 4-hole. Danny Jansen's at 2.9K. Trevino's probably my favorite at 3-1 in the 4-hole, but it's really I just fill out catcher last. Nothing stands out. Whatever fits my build, who cracks the lineup is what I go with.
Yeah, listen, Steve, I have recovered. All right. Don't worry about it. Okay. That bottle of wine took me down. I was hurting the next day. I'm a man. I'll admit it. It hurt me. Okay. So what do you want? It took me 2 days to recover, and I'm fully recovered now. So get off my back.
I will say Wilson Ramos was also in the 4-hole at 3.4K too against Odorizzi. I mean, I like Odorizzi a little bit for his price at pitcher, but he's in the 4K or the 4-hole cheap as well. I'd stick to probably one of those two guys, or just go all the way down to 2K, 2.1K if someone cracks the lineup.
There you go. DC, what do you think about catcher?
Yeah, I like the Trevino call. Texas is interesting to me. They against Yarbrough, who I did like coming into the year, but his velocity's been down. He really hasn't looked good through 2 starts. Texas, obviously a team that we want to pick on in general with starting pitching, but I do think if Yarbrough looks as bad as he has through the first 2 starts, and I think there's a pretty good chance he will, I think Texas could potentially do some damage as a sneaky stack, and certainly getting a catcher for 3,100 would be a good way to go there. Me personally, probably paying up for Will Smith here. Like Title said, he's the best hitting catcher in baseball. He's a better hitter. I feel pretty confident at this point with my data saying that he's a better hitter than Gary Sanchez and Salvador Perez. And
I'm with you.
Even JT Realmuto. I think he's like a legit stud hitter. No Dodgers lineup yet. I would expect him to be in there after a day off, probably hitting 5th or 6th, whatever. Dodgers lineup super deep. Again, not ideal hitting conditions in Los Angeles, but that's the place, that's what it is mostly across the slate, across the country. So 60 degrees in Los Angeles is a better hitting environment than most, I guess, on this particular slate. So yeah, I'll be paying up for Will Smith. I mean, if you're playing Kyle Gibson at 5,600, you're not leaving money on the table, right? You have to get bats that other people cannot get to. That's kind of the point of it. You have to take advantage of that strategic advantage if it turns out to be one. So Will Smith, the guy I'm paying up for, but I do like the Trevino call. And, like we said, there's just so many good pitchers going that most of these guys you don't really want to stack or play hitters against. And yeah, Trevino and Will Smith, the 2 guys I'm looking at.
Real quick, from a strategy perspective, guys, when you have these large slates and that ownership is going to be widely spread out when it comes to even pitcher, especially when we have so many good pitchers and choices, and then just so many teams to stack. So ownership is going to be spread out. And there's so many good pitchers on the mound. Do you initially think like, okay, I want to get a piece of a few different spots, or do you still just stick to like, I want to try and full stack if I can, if there's the best spot? I mean, Title, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so that's a very good point you bring up. And I have 2 answers for a cash game, an answer for cash games and an answer for tournaments. Cash games, I think you can just pick off the best bats I usually stack in cash games more so too, because you usually have a cooler spot in a really good, or Yankees and A's or something like yesterday. Usually there's a couple distinct hitting spots you want. So I try and stack them. Today, there really isn't even any. So I think people are just going to be fishing around for the best like BVP or matchups, and they're just going to one-off. And I think that's a mistake in tournaments because, okay, there's 10 games on the slate today. You're telling me not one team is going to put up 10 runs against someone? Like I think some team's going to break the slate today, and you're going to need that team if you want to win it all. So I still think stacking is optimal on these slates and tournaments. And I think a lot of people make the mistake where they don't stack because it's not comfortable to stack a 4.2 implied team total with 4 or 5 guys. But I still think you need to do that. I think one offense today is going to blow it out. We'll see who it is. That's the point of guessing, but I wouldn't just pick one-offs in tournaments. It's not correlated.
Okay, and before we get to DC here, guys, someone was asking what the price is for the monthly package. Well, if you use the code GETBETS, which is our new promo code we've got, sign up for a monthly Elite Plus Bets option and get bets for free for the first month. So if you sign up, use the code GETBETS, you'll get the bets package for free as long as you get an Elite Plus Bets monthly subscription. So use the code GETBETS. All right, DC, I want that strategy question answered. What do you think on these large slates?
So it's a contrarian take for sure. I recognize that, but I actually don't stack in tournaments even as much as most people do. To me, it's almost gone, I wouldn't say over the line. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I was stacking all the time. I still stack, obviously, some lineups, but I don't think you have to on DraftKings. I think, if you get the guys, I don't know, there'll be maybe like 4 or 5 guys. Maybe that's too many that hit 2 home runs, 3 or 4 guys. If you get those guys in your lineup, it doesn't matter if they're on the same team or not. So I get it. It obviously increases your upside a little bit, going with a full stack. And tonight I will. The Dodgers in particular, when I'm going with the cheapest pitcher, nobody else, unless you're going cheap pitching, you can't get the Dodgers, right? So they make some sense to me. Again, I wish the situation was a little bit better, but just an incredible lineup, obviously, with them still. But yeah, I mean, in tournaments, stacking is great. More than that, though, I want massive upside from every single hitter in my lineup, right? I want power, speed, maybe both. And that's a bigger priority for me than stacking. I think it's just so easy to say, this is my team, 1 through 5, going with them. Even if some of them have bad matchups, I get it. Certainly works out, a decent amount of the time. But I think because everybody stacks, in my opinion, it appears that stacking is more powerful than it is, because of course stacks win often if almost everybody is doing it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have somewhat of a similar take to you, DC, but at the same time, I just feel like if everyone's doing one thing, why in tournaments am I just going to automatically copy everyone and just full exactly. Stack, right? Like it just from the theory, like it doesn't, I'm sorry, like I'm not just going to do what the masses are doing just because that's how you should play. Like, no, like there are other ways to win. And I think, people have won those ways. It's just, people like look down when you don't stack and win. They don't like it. And I don't get it.
That's just bizarre to me. I mean, of course, if nobody was stacking, I would stack every single lineup that I made. Right. But like when everyone is stacking, I'll stack sometimes, but like, I don't want the exact same stack that 3,000 other lineups have in the $15 tournament or whatever. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's just the way I see it.
Completely agree. All right, we can move on to first base. I just had to get that out. All right, first base, guys. DC, I'm going to stick with you here. Give me your first baseman.
Yeah, Max Muncy leading the charge for me, assuming he's in there against Senzatella. Senzatella, Coors pitcher. He's been in Colorado his whole life. If you look at the splits, though, he's not any better away from Coors than he is in Coors Field. Struggles against lefties. And I just love the Dodgers lineup. Just so many good hitters. I mean, they've been missing Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts, who are like 2 top 10 hitters in baseball. And they still have a dominant lineup. So Max Muncy leading the charge. the top end doesn't look that great to me. Other than him, I think Freddie Freeman is interesting. He's got off to a little bit of a slow start, mostly in terms of batting average on balls in play. But Pablo Lopez, again, good pitcher, but Atlanta, maybe the best hitting environment today. We've seen balls just flying all over the place there for the most part. Yeah, 80 degrees, a little bit of wind out to left field. It's a good hitting park anyway. So I do like Freddie Freeman. I think he'll be low owned. I don't think people really like taking guys against Pablo Lopez, and I get it. Pablo, I mean, we didn't even mention him in pitching. Normal slate, I certainly would. I'd be interested there, but just so many other pitchers that we like. So, yeah, Freddie Freeman. I mentioned Joey Votto yesterday, how he was running into a lot of bad luck early on. He went yard in San Francisco. I don't mind him against Gaussman. But, there's just not, in my opinion, not that many great options here.
What about, Josh Bell at 3K? I
Sure.
think I watched him yesterday at the plate. Looked pretty decent to me for his first time getting some real reps in there in a live game. I mean, he's cheap. He's got the lefty-righty matchup. Any Josh Bell love at that cheap price tag?
Yeah, I mentioned yesterday I was a little bit worried that he just hadn't played a game in a few weeks, but he looked fine. Yeah, as expected, I suppose. It was just kind of a small concern there. Tough matchup against Flaherty, but there's so many tough matchups that you can't avoid them all for the most part. But obviously, going cheap pitching like I am, most of my plays are going to kind of swing more toward the high end of the. And I think, I think it makes sense because these cheap guys, they're cheap for a reason. I mean, Jack Flaherty, I'm not as high on him as some other people, but there's no question he's a very talented pitcher.
For sure. Title, what do you think about first base? Is it a spend up spot for you, or are you spending down?
This slate reminds me of opening day with literally no hitting spots at all that stand out. And that's why paying up for both pitchers, I think, is going to be more popular than people think, or at least one of them, just because I like Josh Bell. He's 3K. He's one of my favorite lower options. Up top, if I'm going anywhere, it's Max Muncy. His price is 5.2K on DraftKings, though, and that's tough to get to if you're paying up at pitcher. On FanDuel, he's 3.2. That's just a misprice. I don't know what FanDuel's doing. He's definitely my top spend up over there. A couple other ones on both sites if you need. Rowdy Tellez, he's in the 7 hole, 2.1K on FanDuel, 2.8 on DraftKings. I'm fine with him. Toronto's they're in an all right spot today. If you want to go contrarian against a popular pitcher, Brandon Belt against Luis Castillo. Castillo hasn't looked great. I'd like attacking him against lefties if I'm going to do it. And you get nice leverage against a chalkier guy who's a cheap first baseman. Brandon Belt's a good hitter, as we've seen in the past. He's a nice low-owned guy. Other than that, though, I mean, you can go. I like Tampa Bay a little bit today, the lefties. Yoshi Tsugo down there in the 6 hole against Gibson, 3.8K. I like him, Meadows, and Lowe. Someone's going yard against Gibson today. And so stack up the lefties, Yoshi, 3.8K. But yeah, it's Muncy, or you're going down low to one of those guys. Bell, Tellez, Yoshi. Yep.
Are you calling it? Are you calling it for sure? Kyle Gibson's given up multiple home runs today. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I just want to get it on record.
Yeah, he's given up multiple homers.
Homers.
Tampa's my favorite tournament stack on the slate, if I'm actually being honest.
Ooh,
and that's not even. I mean, I gotta say it how it is. I like the lefties. All right. If you throw in a righty, yeah.
That's your call.
You like strikeouts for your hitters. Okay, that's all good.
We'll see.
There we go. I love it. Back and forth. We need it. Guys, don't forget, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, so you get notified whenever we go live with any of these free shows, MLB, NBA. We do free betting shows if you're subscribed to the Rump Here Bets channel. So get over there for that. Boys, let's bring it to
so I'll say one
base.
other. Sean V in the chat said, imagine fading Gary L. He's in the 6 hole, 3.9K against Boyd too. Like all those guys just seem like the same to me. So yeah, I mean, in a Houston stack, play Gary L for sure. In a San Fran stack, play Belt. In a Dodger stack, play Muncy. That's kind of hard because I mean, I'm stacking more. You guys aren't as that's how I'm approaching it though, is I'm going to just go with my teams because there isn't that clear spend up. FanDuel though, it's really easy. Max Muncy's just, the price is dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Second base, DC, lead it off.
Altuve, the top dog for me here. Matthew Boyd has actually looked really good through 2 starts. I was on the Twins against him last start. He pitched great. But if you look at the course of his career, I mean, extremely home run prone to right-handed bats. I think he's a little bit better this year, but I'll be back on Houston. They were bad last night. Casey Mize looked really good for Detroit. But just that short porch in left field, Altuve, Bregman, obviously they've got a bunch of good lefties in the lineup too. So Altuve, my number one here. If you're going down a little bit lower, I think Chris Taylor, assuming he's in the lineup against Senzatella, looks pretty good. Again, I do prefer him against a lefty. Same game and same teammate, Gavin Lux, probably even a better play at 3,800. We'll see where he's hitting in the lineup. Like the Dodgers kind of move their guys kind of all over the place, so he could be anywhere from leadoff to 7th or 8th, honestly. We'll see. But if he's hitting near the top, especially, I think he's a good play. Other than those guys, I don't see much. Honestly, it's just the nature of the slate, to be honest. Title mentioned it earlier. Like when we were talking opening day, it's just tough to recommend a lot of these guys. There's so many good pitchers going. There's not that many good hitting environments. At least on opening day, we had Coors Field. Today, we don't have that even. So it's tough out there trying to select hitters that you think have a lot of upside.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. A lot of good pitchers on this slate. I think at that point, though, you just got to find one or two of your favorite guys that are, better hitters in general, even if they have tough matchups. And you just got to take a shot with it, right? You just got to say, I'm going to bet on the talent of Jose Altuve or,
exactly. Yep.
Right? Like
I don't love Altuve. Like Boyd is a good pitcher, but I think he's pretty clearly, at least for my money, the best option on the slate, and that's all you can say, right?
Yeah, you just got to bet on the talent at some of these positions.
Yep.
TitleTown, what do you think?
You couldn't have said it better. Bet on the talent. Brandon Lowe, Gavin Lux. That's all I'm playing. Brandon Lowe, Gavin Lux.
It's that simple right there, folks. It's Gavin Lux and Brandon Lowe. So
Brandon Lowe I'm really scared for Gibson here. Brandon Lowe is hitting 156. It's no home runs.
That's why we call it daily fantasy sports every day.
Looking at his Ks per game here, 1-1, 2-3, 1-3. All right, go ahead.
So how many times is Brandon Lowe going to strike out, DC? He called how many home runs, how many strikeouts?
Probably only 3, because that's the only amount of at-bats he'll get against Gibson as he runs through this lineup 3 clean times.
What action can I get on that? I'll give you 5-1.
What?
5-1. He strikes out Brandon Lowe 3 times.
No.
All right. I just got to keep you on your toes.
I'm an idiot. I'm not that dumb.
All right.
All right. Before we get DC into any more bets that are crazy, let's move on to third base.
Hey, got to test it. Smart man.
No, you're on a hot streak. You got to test it. All right. Third base.
There's nothing wrong with going after the overconfident DC. That's a profitable spot to be. Let me tell you.
Listen, if you're TitleTown, you literally a couple weeks ago, you make Big T fall on his face playing basketball. Yeah. You wax him on the court, and then you come back in baseball and you give DC everything he can handle with all these bets and winners. I mean, if you're Title, how aren't you the most confident person in the world walking into these shows right now? You got to be rolling confident. So I like it. Keep it up. So let's bring it to third base, though. Let's bring your confidence on to this position, and who are we liking?
Yeah, so this one isn't as clear cut as the last one for me. If you're going all the way up, Alex Bregman against Boyd, but I'm not. I'd rather pay up for Max Muncy, Brandon Lowe or something. So I don't see myself going all the way up there. Man, this is not a very good position. We're going back to Tsugo on FanDuel. He is 2.4K. Hey, am I butchering it? Yoshi, what is it?
No, it's Tsugo. You got his name right. He just sucks, dude. Look at this guy. Look at this.
This whole third base position sucks.
I know, but you don't have to pick the worst one.
3.8. I mean, that's what I'm Tampa Bay. That's my stack. That's why I got to do it. But this position is garbage. Like you are right. Kevin Biggio, 4.3K. I'm fine going there. That seems a little too cheap. He's got power. Adrianza, 2.3K on DraftKings. Yeah, that's probably my favorite, actually. Just punt all the way. Adrianza, 2.3K on Atlanta in the 7-hole against Lopez. and then pay up elsewhere. So I'll say that's my favorite play. Otherwise, Sasugo or Biggio for the 3 tiers.
Uncle T says, I'm stirring things up. DC is literally going, that dude sucks. That's Title's talking about a guy.
He does suck.
No, I'm just saying, though. How am I stirring the pot? DC is literally the biggest instigator. I love it. I love when DC instigates. That's my favorite part of the show.
I like it, too.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up. I mean, go look at Sasugo's stats. The dude sucks.
He's not very good, but it's a part of the stack. He's a lefty against Gibson, and the price is fine. He's not. I'm not saying he's a good baseball player. He's not a guy.
His upside is like 2 walks.
His upside is getting on base for the stack to drive him in.
All right.
DC,
what do we got here at third base? Come on.
Bregman, my number one option here, obviously pretty high in these Astros righties. Some risk, but I think they have just more upside than almost anybody at the position. If Boyd is not sharp, I think these guys are going to do some serious damage over the wall left field. Mike Moustakas, 5,500. Again, a lot to pay, but you'll see, characteristically low ownership on an overpriced Mike Moustakas in San Francisco. He's got the power to do damage there. I like San Francisco a little bit tonight. Justin Turner is fine for the Dodgers, of course. And then I do agree for the first time on the slate on anything with title. Kevin Biggio looks like a pretty good play.
There we go. Finally, we got an agreement between these two. Look at that. JSU comes on the show, and boom, we get an agreement. Finally. I'm rolling right now. I love it. Before we move on to the outfield guys, shortstop, I just want to remind you, if you are a Run Pure Sports member and you get a screenshot and you post it on Twitter or Instagram, make sure to tag us at Run Pure Sports. Use the hashtag members never win. We will repost it for you. Make sure if you have a screenshot, use that hashtag members never win, because that's what they say. So we just, after we post the winners, we got to use that hashtag just to, really put it in there, right, DC? We can't let these people walk off.
Do people really say that? I've never actually seen anyone say members never win. Or we just like make it up and it's like a us against the world type self-motivation thing. Like Michael Jordan, like everybody hates me.
So DC, you got to go into like the comments after like Tony ships or Hoop ships or anyone ships that's a staff member. Those are like the best. Those are like the first comments that we get normally. After like 2 congratulations, there'll be like a few, yeah, but your members don't win. Like, it's just like the classic thing that people say.
How could it even be true? We all play the same guys that we say we're going to play. I mean,
that is the best part, honestly. Like when one of us wins, normally there's like multiple other people that are winning because they played the same guys.
I mean,
or similar guys.
Oftentimes it's like, I've hit some like really low owned pitching plays, and it's like last night, Cobb was fantastic. I didn't win because the stacks that I went with sucked, but like a whole bunch of members won with them. So it's like, I mean, I think when one of us wins, of course, like it's always going to be our core plays or pretty close to it. And even if, I don't know, I've had plenty of days where I've had like really good pitching picks and just my personal stacks haven't worked out, but members have crushed. So it even goes both ways there. It's just bizarre that people would say that because it's not even close to true.
It's not. And Bobby Gomes wants a one-on-one between me and Title on the basketball court. I heard Title talk a little, for all the confidence that Title has built up from everything on these shows, smoking Big T. I heard him just say a little, a little peep about like, oh yeah, and if JSU wants a piece, I'll definitely take a piece of JSU on the court. I heard him say it. I mean, Title, the invitation is here. I got a nice slab right outside there. Beautiful hoop out there. If you ever want to come down and have a piece of JSU, we can make that happen. I'm glad. That step back of yours is nice, but I'm telling you right now, I can actually stay with your step back. Unlike Mr. Big T, who could not. I can.
It's shooting over a chair, JSU. It's shooting over a chair.
I love it. I love the short jokes. Short jokes.
I wasn't happy having to PayPal Title after losing the pitching bets our last show, but it was just a a fraction of what he made me after I backed him to beat Big T, especially after the warm-up video with Uncle T and Title's like draining like 15 consecutive setback threes and Big T's in the corner, like drinking a beer and huffing and puffing. I'm like, yeah, let's get some more action here. I didn't even need odds. I didn't even get odds. I had Title 1-1 after I saw that video, and that was
the best. Was DC saw the video and then was in the Discord asking if anyone else wanted to.
I was taking
more
action
money
from
on
members. I was getting, I think like some
Sharp
of those
man.
leave, they couldn't pay the monthly fee anymore because they had to ship their last $100 to me. Which no,
DC was like trying to get as much money as he possibly could on Title after that. I saw him in there. I saw him in there getting it. Title, it says opening line is -250. You're the favorite, so that's fine. I'm usually the underdog, so I'm cool with it.
I mean, that reminds me of that -400 Big T line that was put out there earlier against me. I don't know.
As bad as Title's baseball takes are today, his step back jumper is that good.
Yes, no, his step back jumper is good, but my conditioning is definitely going to be way better than Big T's conditioning. I won't say anything about my basketball game, but I'll tell you right now, Title is not going to make me huff and puff and almost pass out like Big T. Literally, I thought he was going to pass out multiple times during that game.
Title like missed his first step back. Big T grabbed the rebound and he's like grabbing his shorts 2 seconds later. It's like, dude, you got one rebound. Like, I'm not claiming to be in the best physical condition myself, but come on, dude, you got to do better than that.
And that was all part of the reason for the bet. Like, I knew he wasn't going to be in shape. Like, all this stuff goes through my mind. And it was even better hearing Hoop, JSU, all them. Oh, 3 dribble hurts you. No way you beat Big T. You can't score on. What are the odds to get shut out? Hey, it was fun, though. It was fun.
He was in worse conditioning than I thought. I'll take the L, though. I was 100% wrong on the rule, the conditioning, everything. So I still think, though, Big T's actually a decent basketball player when, like, he's actually in shape. But
you could see it every 5 minutes. He would, like, get the win to, like, make a strong drive to the hole, and he would score every time.
He, like, said it to me, too. He's like, I just didn't have the energy to, like, keep driving like those. I just didn't have the energy to do it. Like,
when you're tired, it's like you see it in MMA all the time. When you're tired, your body just you can't perform. So I mean, Big T couldn't drive when he's that tired. Otherwise, he's going to be tired for defense. I mean, if Big T got in shape, you can tell he knows how to play basketball.
You know too, when the legs go, that's it.
You're done.
Yeah, you're done. All right, enough talking about this. We'll get to it another time. We got the shortstop position to talk about. DC, bring us back to the winner's circle.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of guys up top here that I want to spend on, namely Corey Seager. Been talking about him a lot. I think right up there with Mike Trout and kind of like the best pure hitters in baseball at the moment. Like that matchup for sure against Senzatella. And then Carlos Correa back to the Astros. He's been just scorching the ball. Contract year for him. I think as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be phenomenal. Has always crushed lefties. Gets Matthew Boyd, who's not terrible, but I think a really good matchup here for Carlos Correa. So really, those two guys, I think it, as usual, looks like a spend up position at shortstop for me.
Yep, I agree. Title, what do you think? Are you agreeing? Is it a spend up spot? Or are you going down?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted Gleyber Torres in the lineup. He's 2.6 on FanDuel only, but he didn't crack the lineup. It came out. I'll mention Odor. He's in the 6 hole and he's 3K on DraftKings. He's third base and second base eligible. So he got a bump up in the lineup. I like him. I mean, he's cheap. So I like him just because the Yankees are all right today and a good offense, but no Torres, which stinks. That was my top shortstop. Carlos Correa, though, I agree, 4.7K. Corey Seager, I mean, if you can get him, he's 5.5 on DraftKings. He's one of the best bats in the game. Senzatella struggles against lefties. He'd be my favorite if you can get there. Otherwise, Correa 4.7. I don't want to go too much lower in punt. If you need to punt, you can go back to Adrianza in the 7 hole in Atlanta at 2.3K, but I think it's a spend up position.
Are the Yankees just a team where we just got to wait until they start to hit the ball back? Like, what do we do with the Yankees? Because I saw a lot of people. I know a lot of people on them, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
And they didn't really come through. Is this just like a wait and see approach with some? Because we know they have the power. I mean, you look at their lineup and it's like, Stanton, Judge, Sanchez hitting back to back to back. Like this is a monster lineup.
You talk about buying in on the talent, and what a slate to buy in on talent when there's no standout stack going. I know you don't love picking on Ryu, but would you be surprised if the Yankees break the slate and get 10 plus runs? I mean, their lineup's that good. If you're playing Gibson, you can do it affordably. So, I mean, I think you hit
look
it
at
on
that.
earlier.
Title's coming around to the Kyle Gibson play. You love to see it.
No. I mean,
show, but he's here.
Go
That's
down to Max Fried.
You're wising up in your young years there.
No, I'm talking to the people that are playing Kyle Gibson. You can play Max Fried and then stack it. Woodruff Castillo, whatever. But no, not doing that. But yeah, buying on the talent. I think Yankees. I mean, that's how I approach them.
DC, as we come to the outfield position, are there any Yankees in your outfield player pool today?
I think they're fine. I think these guys are going to hit. I don't think there's anything like physically wrong with Judge or Stanton or any of these guys right now. So yeah, I agree with Title on that one. I just don't like picking on Ryu. I mean, this guy hasn't had an ERA over 3 in 4 consecutive years. Like he just never gets hit. He's actually not a pitcher that I would say I've kind of missed on him over the years. I haven't rostered him much. I haven't had him in seasonal just because I don't really understand how he does it, but he does it. Home run rate's low every year. So
he's one of those better real life pitchers than DFS pitchers like Kyle Hendricks. I think he falls in that same boat
for sure. I mean, he probably gets, I don't know. I don't have like a blow up rate stat, like 5+ or like you could say like more runs in the innings pitched or something, however you wanted to clarify it. I would guess if I had one, he would be very, very low on that. Almost never gets hit super hard.
All right. Well, DC, what do you think about this outfield spot here? Where are we going? Are we spending up still at the outfield, or you finally got some cheap guys for us?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Trout, I think maybe the best overall play on the slate, just in terms of raw projection. No surprise, it's Mike Trout, but good matchup against Danny Duffy. Not that many good matchups. We've talked about it a lot during the show. He certainly has one. Ronald Acuna is just on fire right now. I do have respect for Pablo Lopez, but Lopez's best pitch is a changeup, which isn't super effective against right-handed hitters anyway. So I do think Ronald Acuna is going to go super low owned. Nobody's been hotter than him. Juan Soto, again, a tough matchup on paper, but Soto is just a monster, right? It's like some of these great hitters like Trout, Soto, if you look up kind of their splits, like against good pitchers and bad pitchers, they kind of converge. Whereas like a guy like Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton just beats up on the gas cans of the world, right? They need meatballs down the middle or else they're going to strike out. Soto, Trout, they don't need that. They can destroy good pitching too. So I think Soto could be sneaky against Flaherty. I don't think you'll see many people going in that direction. And then, back to some of the Dodgers guys. If you need value, I think they're fine. I've been super, super high on Shohei Ohtani this entire year. I do prefer him certainly against right-handed pitching. I think he's legitimately much better against that, but Danny Duffy, not going to scare me off if I'm going with a few Angels in there. Couple more guys I'm looking at. Akil Baddoo. I've been on him since opening day. Homered off Zach Greinke yesterday. If you didn't see that one, I think it's a 5-foot bomb to dead center field. A rookie for the Detroit Tigers. I think he's a star in the making, and Odorizzi making his first start of the year. Joey Gallo. Again, I've talked about Ryan Yarbrough. Just doesn't look great to me. I know it's left versus left, but Gallo handles lefties pretty well himself. And then I'll throw in Justin Upton. I do like the Angels quite a bit tonight.
All right. Justin Upton. Yeah, he's looked pretty good to me when I've watched.
I think so. The production hasn't been great, but his at-bats, he looks dangerous to me. So I like him quite a bit right now.
I'm glad you say that, because I said the same thing when I've watched a few of those games so far, and he's hit the ball pretty hard. It hasn't went his way a few times.
You feel good when he's on your roster and he comes up to the plate, though. You feel something good happening. Again, it's very early, and it matters how you look, right? He's getting into good counts. He's hit some long fly balls the opposite way. Just he looks good, so I'm buying low on him right now.
I like it. TitleTown. What about you? What's the outfield looking like?
I like that Justin Upton call. I think the Angels are very sneaky. You go Upton, Trout, and I would throw in Ohtani. I know it's lefty, but talk about buying on the talent on a slate like this. I think that's a pretty interesting 3-man Angel stack, and I definitely like it. Going to some other places, I like Marcelo Ozuna. I like this Braves team, and another team like the Yankees. Their lineup's just so good. It doesn't matter who they go against. Ozuna, I like his price tag. Austin Meadows, already talked about him briefly earlier. Love him in the one hole against Gibson. Mike Trout is my favorite if you're going all the way up top, if you're going to do it a part of stacks, but I don't think I can one off a 6K Mike Trout. I'd rather pay up at shortstop and go Seager and get stuff like that. Aaron Hicks is in the 4 hole, I believe. Maybe he's in the 5 hole. He's cheap at 3.9K. I like getting part of that Yankee stack. If you're going cheaper and you need value, I mean, the Marlins, we do like Max Fried a little bit, but he hasn't performed very well this year. The Marlins are really cheap. If you want to go, we haven't seen the lineup yet, or I haven't, but is Garrett Cooper and Duvall. I'm not sure if lineup's not out and they do crack it. Cooper's 2.8K, Duvall's 3.3K. Duvall just homered yesterday against the lefty he gets today. I do like them for cheap. And then, Nolan Mazzara is in the 5 hole at 2.2K against Odorizzi if you need a full punt. This Adolis Garcia, or DC mentioned that he likes Texas a little bit against Yarborough. He's 2.1K in the 6 hole. So, I mean, there's a lot of options at multiple different spots. Meadows is definitely my favorite. And then Upton and Ozuna too would be my 2 and 3. I really like that Upton call.
My man Title can't play Mike Trout, but Yoshi Susugo, he's good to go with him.
I mean, that's when you get in the I wish I could roster every 6K player on the slate. Bieber, Bauer, Trout.
You can play Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, exactly. I want strikeouts, not home runs.
You got like 2 more minutes to convince you, man. Come join the light. Come join the light with us on Kyle Gibson.
He had 8 strikeouts last game. What do you mean?
That's his floor tonight.
His floor. Oh my! What money can I get on that comment?
Oh God! Here we go.
We got Mango saying Fox's floor is 50. Now DC's 8 strikeout. That's even more crazy. I don't know.
Kyle Gibson tonight is like Russell Westbrook, and he's playing with a bunch of high schoolers.
He's playing 2 minutes then. Get you.
God, I love it. This is great. DC, you dig holes. I swear, like sometimes on purpose, and then Title just tries to like jump in. Like, can I get action on that? You're like, wait a second, hold on.
Yeah, got a floor.
Hold on. Let's lower it a little bit.
Sportsbook, so I'm not going to give Title some great discount here.
There you go. All right, guys. I mean, I don't know how we go through maybe our favorite stacks, and then if you guys want to give like a favorite play of the day, we can do that. Title, let's start with you. Favorite stacks of the day, like top 3.
Yeah, I'm going to do tournaments. I'm not going to say Dodgers, this, that. I'm going to go tournaments. Tampa, number 1, the lefties especially. I like the Angels a lot today against Duffy. Trout, Ohtani, and Justin Upton stand out a lot. Ooh, and then, man, who's going to be low? I like the Braves too. Then Braves would be 3 against Miami. So Tampa, Tampa, Angels, and then the Braves.
Tampa, Angels, and the Braves. DC, top 3 stacks.
I'm going Dodgers, Astros, and Angels.
All right, Dodgers, Astros, Angels. I do like the Dodgers. I'm definitely going to have the money to pay up for the Dodgers. And then outside of full stacking, I'm probably just going to mini stack in a few different spots for my second lineup. So that'll just be a few different spots. Definitely like the Acuna call. So I do like some Acuna, Freddie Freeman combo, little mini stack there. So I think my main lineup will probably have a mini stack of Acuna and Freeman. Not that those are crazy, bold calls there, guys, but I'm going to have a lot of money with Kyle Gibson. So I need to be able to pay up somewhere. So I like it. Boys, let's give our favorite plays of the day. Title, we'll just continue. Let's start with you. Maybe a favorite pitcher and a favorite hitter.
Trevor Bauer, Austin Meadows.
Boom. DC, what do you got?
I'm going to go shockingly with Kyle Gibson and Akil Baddoo for the Tigers.
Akil Baddoo for the Tigers. All right, Kyle Gibson and Akil Baddoo. Love that. I'm going to make this short and simple. Ronald Acuna, dude has been on fire. I don't know how he's going to be low. I mean, he's going to be because of the price tag, I guess. And
everyone's going to play Trout over him for sure, too.
Everyone's going to pay Trout. I mean, I love Trout. I get it. But, man, I don't know how you don't look at what he's been doing at the plate and you just don't click his name. I'm going to play him. I love him here. So give me Acuna. And I'm not going to ride DC's coattails on Kyle Gibson, even though I am going to play Kyle Gibson.
Hey, plenty of room on the bandwagon. Plenty of room. Come on board. Come on board.
Well, I want to give another pitcher. I'm going to play him. Don't worry. I just want to give another pitcher, so we give like a different pitcher on the show. So Max Fried, I think he's a better pitcher than maybe, his first start or second start kind of showed. And I'm going to go right to him after the bad blow-up game that he had last time out against Washington. Give me Max Fried at 6.5K. That'll do it. Before we get out of here, guys, I got to pick someone for the free ticket, the $250 ticket that I just want to get his name pronounced. JP84, yep, is giving away. He wanted to give some good mojo and give back to the people, and he wanted to give back to a member. So I'm going to give out this free ticket to D-Walkie16. The guy is in the Discord. I see him all the time in the Discord. Yep. D-Walkie16. Hit us up. Hit me up in a DM. We'll make sure you get hooked up. And you can thank JB84 for the ticket. If that's already filled, D-Walkie, then for today, then we'll just do the ticket for tomorrow. So we'll hit you up. We'll get that all set up. And congrats to you. Boys, before we get out of here, anything else? Last words? DC, last words?
Just one final request. You can find TitleTown on Twitter at TitleTown2121. Please send him a tweet every time one of these donkey rays strikes out against Kyle Gibson.
Okay, TitleTown, rebuttal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want no early victory laps today and then deleted afterwards. It's none of that anymore. Yeah, Kyle, I'll be definitely watching Kyle Gibson closely. But on a serious note, too, if you're not at Run Pure Sports, I mean, we have NBA locking, NBA show in 20 minutes, the Hardwood show. We have that locking at 7:30 Eastern today. I like the MLB and NBA staggered start time. So about to dive into that, too. We'll be in Discord talking all the sports, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, this is what makes the shows fun. I hope the people watching are loving it, too. Thanks for hanging out. I have to have different takes. We can't agree on everything. It's DFS. So thanks for hanging out, and hopefully I get the better end of it again today.
There you go. Guys, we appreciate it. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't run too far. We got an NBA show going live in about 20 minutes for free. So make sure you stay around for the Hardwood show. I'm pretty sure Hoop and Mangone will be giving out the winners there. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. For me, JSU, TitleTown, and DC, a.k.a. Kyle Gibson. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good luck, everybody.